It's been a while since I've made a video, but I'm back again today with an Artifact Portal video. Artifact got a ton of new stuff this expansion, right? Like the Rhino, mainly the Rhino, I guess, and now we got Dyne as well. Oh, got reboot button. Yeah, we got a bunch of new stuff, so it's definitely a lot better. Oh, maybe not a lot, but it's definitely better than it was last expansion at least. And I've never really gotten to trying it since all the new stuff came out, and now that we have Dyne as well, I figured I might as well wanted to try at some point. But then yeah, also I was playing the story, and since the story is a portalcraft deck, I just put together the artifact deck since I might as well, since I was doing the story anyway. So since I have the deck now, I might as well get some games with it, make a video out of it. So here are some games with artifact. For this list, I don't really remember where I got it from. It's just like I memorized it at some point, and then like it just kind of like came out of my brain. I don't know where I got it from. So yeah, but this is the list I'll be playing for today. I don't think it's like perfect. Probably swap like jet powered pugilist for something like, sorry, pugilist for something like the dimension crack or something. But yeah, for now this is the list I'll be playing for today. So let's look at the games. So for our first game, we of course have a match against Heel Haven. We're going first here. So for the mulligan, I just like to keep Aegil and then things that can shuffle more artifacts in the deck in the early game. For Trafia maybe, but mostly against like more aggressive things. So we pick up the Ines here, which is great because we can pick up Aegil here. Ines is usually like a good keep on when you're going first, but going second it's harder to find room to play her, because if you play her on turn 1 she won't draw Aegil anyway, so that's worth considering. But doesn't really come up here. We just play the Ines and pick up the Aegil here. For your early game, you generally just spend it trying to get Aegil's effect active. There are games where you go for the more aggressive route, but in this case, not really an option, so we just go for the standard Aegil plan. You don't generally like playing reboot button like this early on. You don't keep it in mulligan either, or at least I wouldn't recommend it. You don't like to play it this early because you rather play it for its like other cards, which are Steel Arm Conflagration or Radiant Machinery, which are both better than just playing it on one. But in this case, we don't have much in the way of ways to shuffle artifacts, so we're just playing it here just to shuffle an artifact. Yeah, make sure we can get Aegil's effect active on our evil turn. So here we start our turn, we just play the Lazuli here, shuffle more artifacts in. The standard thing, standard gameplay I guess. And opponent plays the Agent of Commandments here, which is fine because we have a lot of ways to clear it with Laser Tyranny. So since I pick up the jet powered pugilist here, I just go ahead and play it to get the Aegil transmute effect active, then I can just use the lasers as well. Since I have pugilist to summon the artifacts, shuffle the artifacts, sorry, then I can just use the Laser Tyranny to increase more copies of Laser Tyranny, do more damage, and just like sort of pressure them in the face, cause like while we technically do have OTKs, it's not super reliable to assemble. It's like turn 8, so we'd rather not have to rely on that. So we'll go ahead and trade off the Ines. Then a pretty standard time we go for Aegil here. We don't really need this in Ines, so we just go ahead and use her. Go on to the Dyne, might come in handy later for destroying Agent of Commandments or just for doing damage. So we'll go ahead and trade off and just hit face. Pretty standard turn from us here. It will be pretty bad for us if it went Agent here, but thankfully it didn't go Agent here, so still alive. We go ahead and play the Enriat, which is not something you always see in a heal. Actually, it's a pretty rare tech. I'm not sure what they were playing it for, but I guess they were playing it, so that's fine. Go ahead and play the Lu as well. We pick up the Aegil, so we're just gonna play that, draw an artifact. Got the Rhino, which is very good. We have Analyzing Artifact here, which we can use to trade and try to draw more artifacts. We got a Sisterly Bomb, we can trade that for Spinaria. Spinaria can draw us another artifact. That's kind of how it works. When it comes to artifact turns, sometimes it can get very complicating to play them because they take so many actions, right? But the advice I've heard that sort of works, makes sense to me at least, is rather than trying to decide what cards you play, you should focus on like a more take a more big picture approach and instead focus on what you want to accomplish in the turn. then that will let you play more flexibly, I guess, and respond more. Cause you draw like 5 cards a turn if you're playing artifact, right? So it allows you to respond more flexibly to the cards you draw instead of like having to rethink your game plan every time you draw a new card. So that's the approach I like to take. It's just to have an idea of what I want to accomplish. This time was just a standard setup turn. Want to clear the followers, just find the Rhino and just draw more cards to fill up my hands so that I have more options to play with next turn. Go ahead and evolve Retrafia here because we have 2 whites in the way, so hopefully they have trouble clearing the Retrafia, but they don't because they just the Ralde will clear it. I guess they're saving their evil point here. Go ahead and not evolve the Ralde. Let me keep my Ege, which is fine. So we're just gonna go ahead and chip damage here. Pretty standard artifact thing, I guess. We trade the Rhino first, just to make sure that whenever we draw cards off like other card effects, we maximize the chance of the card drawn being a Rhino. Go ahead and evolve the Carnelia here. And our Rhino, go ahead and play the Rhino, get more Rhinos in the deck so we can try to kill them. Arguably, I might have wanted to keep that Rhino there and save it for an Entitled OTK. Just, I guess it's necessary for me to cover the OTK, even though I don't think I ever got to do it. While you have Aegil's effect active on 8 PP with Dyne having 20 artifact shuffled, you can play Rhino into Radiant and then Dyne, which will be exact OTK. Or you can, if you need a little bit more output, you can go Rhino, Radiant, and then like either one more Rhino or another Radiant also works, and then just play Dyne that way. You have 1 extra PP to work with for an artifact. Yeah, doesn't really count here, but yeah, just worth considering. Maybe I should have kept the Rhino here, but I didn't. Just go ahead and just get the lasers into the cycle, start doing damage with them. There is an argument for just playing Analyzing here, but I guess I didn't. So they pull out the John here, which I mean is the standard play we expect, right? Go ahead and fuse their Verdelia. We have the Lu here, which is pretty annoying. And then we lose our board here, the John gets buffed, and go ahead and play Fountain of Tranquility, which will further buff their board. So normally for most decks, this agent is very scary, being like damage immune, but since we have Dyne, we can just clear it just fine. So I'll go for this turn. Definitely one of them is just to get rid of that Dyne. We will die if we don't get rid of it, so yeah. So we go ahead and play a Disseminator. I'm confident that I can play Dyne even with the Disseminator, so I just play it to refill my hand here. Got a bunch of Rhinos, we're gonna go ahead and play those. And we go ahead and play the Ancient Artifact. This will let us finish off the junk to guarantee that Dyne's Accelerate will in fact hit the Commandment. So we go ahead and play the Vamia here with the Analyzing Artifact, and then we can just Accelerate Dyne here to get rid of their board. And then we just spend the rest of our PT, I guess. Trying to play those, we'll convert them to draws now while we still have time, right? Keeping Retrafia for her Fanfare might have been a consideration here, but we have Dyne anyway, so it's like not much of a difference. We're better off crystallizing Retrafia in case we need to use her next turn. So they go ahead and have John here, 2 Johns. But thanks to the Vamia damage shield that we put up, they're not able to finish us off. Even though we do take a ton of damage here to go ahead and fuse. A big board. That's with the Verdelia. I mean, we hit us with the John, sorry, but we have the Rhino and the Dyne, so they're just dead anyway. So yeah, that's it for this game. Pretty fun artifact game, I think. Let's go on the next one. Our next game will be against Dragon, and this time we are going second. So yeah, we like the Evamia here. The Holy Biker will help us shuffle artifacts in to get us active with Aegil. Although we don't start with Aegil, I generally play with the expectation that I'll just draw Aegil at some point. It's like not the most like logical or reasonable decision, but I think it's fine for me at least. If you want to play more seriously, you can think harder, but not me. But of course, the Beowulf here, still playing a pretty interesting deck here. Don't really know what they're up to. But we're just gonna go ahead and use the Holy Biker to clear the Beowulf here. All shuffling things, trying to draw Aegil. We do pick up the Aegil here, so that's good for us. One just goes for Worm Crafting, so this is buff. Go ahead and activate the Joe. Sorry, crystallize the Joe. Fine, we're just gonna play the Lazuli here. Not much else to do really. Now we are at only 4 artifacts shuffled, but next time we can just play Laser Tyranny and then Aegil, so that's fine. We don't really have any other play, so we don't have to fuse beforehand. Just go ahead and play the Laser Tyranny. I knew I was gonna top deck the Radiant though, maybe I would have fused beforehand, but I think it's fine. Go ahead and fuse off Laser Tyranny. We only have 1 left, but we don't really want to fuse any of the other cards in our hand right now. We kind of want them, so we're gonna hold on to them. Hit them in the face. Get her now. Go ahead and play the Lucky Mermaid. Gonna buff their hand here. And he has the Coral Spirit, which is interesting. It does like slow down artifact names, which like Evamia cares about, I guess. But it's not that big of a deal. Go ahead and play the Analyzing here just to try and draw more cards. Pick up the Steel Arm here. I'm just gonna go ahead and use the Steel Arm to try and draw more cards. Not a Radiant artifact here at this point, it's fine. Another Analyzing. Pick up the Rhino, which is very good. Go ahead and use Dyne to just clear the board while going face with the Radiant there, just to chip some damage to make sure we try to finish them off. And then we go ahead and play the Laser here since we have the room to. I chose not to go for the Spinares artifact here because don't want to pop Retrafet yet. I want her to pop next turn so that I can get her full value next turn. Because if I just pop her now, they're just gonna clear the Retrafia and then I'm in trouble, right? So just go ahead and save the Retrafia here. And not playing the Spinaris artifact. And my opponents, they're emoting a lot, but I don't think it's BM, so I'm just having a nice conversation with them through emotes or something, I guess. We go ahead and play the Drazai here, which is very good for me. It's a very slow turn, and unlike most decks, we have a pretty easy time dealing with Drazai just because we have so many followers to trade. So we pick another Rhino here, which is nice. And then trade the so I went for Rhino before the reboot button here because I want to maximize the chance that Steel Arm Congregation draws Rhinos for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and summon the Rhinos before I play the reboot button here. A Radiant Artifact, which is very nice. So we got 3 Rhinos here, which is very much a high roll, of course. Put on the Steel Arm here just to draw more cards, pick up the Rhino there, which is what we wanted. Play the Carnita. Carnita will also hopefully draw us a Rhino since we shuffle a bunch in. Let's pick up a Rhino here. So we trade the 4 attack, then we learning to take inefficient trades is important for this deck so that you can maximize your trade targets. So yeah, this is trading the Rhinos instead of the big Rhino just because we can get more trades that way, right? And shuffle more into our deck. On the Radiant just to deal some damage here. And then might as well trade this Radiant in for an artifact. If it's destroyed on their turn, we get a normal draw, so it's better off to just get rid of it and get a normal draw here. Again, we're just having a nice conversation here with my opponent. We got the Magic Mecha Rhino, so if we don't heal, it's just dead. They go for the Dion here into the Striker and Joe, which means that we are guaranteed lethal next turn, so I believe I just go ahead and tank them here. Anyway, so they just do a bunch of buff dragon, first damage, the standard, you know. We've all seen it before, right? Like nice 15 damage here. So I win here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use a nice emote just for fun. And we'll just go ahead and play this and punch them in the face, and that's the end for this game. We have one more game. So for our last game, we are against Sword and we are going first. Oh, we've been going, going first is pretty good, I think, yeah, in general. Go ahead and toss the reboot button and the Dyne, same as usual. We were just one the Shufflers, which is Lazuli here. Pick up the Innes on turn 1, which is great, so we just go ahead and play it. Pick up the Aegil here. My opponent plays 9 AP, so this is most likely loot. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to destroy my own Innes here, so we are going to have to feed them 1 loot here. Bit of a shame, but yeah, I think we can do about it right. Go ahead and play Tony here. We'll pick up the free loot here. So here the consideration is whether I use the Disseminator of Wisdom to clear the Nightly Thief. You can do this by like doing some like sisterly bonds into Spinaria and then play the Disseminator or something, but like I just didn't feel that was super efficient for my PP, so I decided not to. I just gave them the free loot and just prayed that that wouldn't matter, so I go ahead and play Lazuli. Not confident that that was the correct play, of course. There is definitely a strong argument for just destroying the Nightly Thief with the Disseminator being the correct play here, but Until now, we go ahead and pick out Sisterly Bonds. We're gonna play that. Pick up the Spinara's artifact here. We're gonna use the Disseminator to try and draw an artifact because we're still not Aegil's not active yet, so we'd rather draw a artifact that can shuffle cards, but since we didn't, we're gonna use the Laser Tyranny to complete it. Shuffle the Analyzing here. You generally don't pick Ancient like ever. Ancient is just not it. Like, it just doesn't help you. Analyzing is like much better usually. I mean, I'm sure there are cases where Ancient might have been correct, but I think 99% of the time it's just Analyzing, so I just go for Analyzing every time. My opponent has the classic Loot Sword curve here, going for Rogers. Put down the Deep Sea Scout to help draw cards while they play loots. Their loot is definitely going very smoothly. Go ahead and do our Union mandated Aegil turn, I guess. Go ahead and fuse that Lapis, sorry, the Lazuli, not Lapis. A bit hard to find room to play Lazuli, I think, so we'll go ahead and get with that. We trade here. We don't play the Carnelia, 1 because we want to save her for the evil effect, and 2 because we don't want to even trade targets for Stormwreck First Mate. They're at 7, like, basically. They're already at 7 anyway, so maybe it was fine to play the Carnelia, but kind of want to save her for the evil effect. So goes ahead and hit me in the face here, fuses the Barbaros. So they are now at 7 loots with the loots on board. Another Lazuli here, which is not super useful, but Going to evolve the Carnelia, try to pick up, mainly looking for the reboot button here, which we do manage to pick up. Gonna go ahead and use that to heal. Because we are very low and Lu has a lot of burst damage, so we have to try to heal out of their range as best as we can. We've got the 0 cost Rhino here, so of course we're just gonna play that. Go ahead and trade. Not yet. Alright, yeah, I do trade. And then we go ahead and play the Lazuli here just to recover an evil point. We do clear the board here. We've got the Rhino here, so we're just gonna go ahead and trade the Rhino in, and then we can use the Disseminator to destroy our own Lazuli while destroying their follower. Maybe there's like not much of a reason to keep the board empty, but I mean, better safe than sorry, I guess. So the opponent go ahead and fuse us, so that hits 7 loot. So they're gonna go ahead and play the Rogers here to a Barbaros. They probably do have another Barbaros here. I actually can check, but I didn't. We do have 3. This one, I don't. Is it fused? No, it is fused. So they did play their fused Barbaros, so maybe they didn't actually have another Barbaros. We don't really know. They might have just played that, so that means maybe they have the 2 gunners. It's probably the most reasonable assumption at this point. But when we pick up the Rafia here, our goal is just to kill this board and try to heal. So we try to Carnila can draw a reboot button, which is what we're going for here. So we try to draw a reboot button of Carnila here to hopefully heal out of a lethal range. He lasts for 4, put us at 19, is like kind of safe against loot, but fortunately we don't pick up the button here, so we're just going ahead, but we pick up a bunch of Radiance, so we're just gonna go ahead and face with those. Go ahead and trade off, and then use the Dyne to trade in our Radiant to try and draw a Rhino. And we do pick up the Rhino, so this is just lethal. So yeah, pretty lucky there, but we did pick up the reboot button, so we have healed as well. But anyway, that's it for this game as well. Let's move on to the next game. Sorry, no more games. Take it back. So you can ignore that little bit at the end of the last game. I just say let's move on to the next game out of habit now. I only have 3 games generally, unless there's a specific reason to run more games, but usually I only have 3 games. So yeah, that was our 3 games for this video. So that was Artifact Portal. It's a bit steep of a learning curve. I'm definitely not like that good at this deck. I'm not good at this deck at all, I think, maybe. But I mean, it's a deck that is pretty fun to play and fun to learn. I think it's fun to learn because you just get to play a lot of cards and you can slowly get better at making decisions. You can build up a lot of like kind of muscle memory, more like instinct, I guess, when playing this deck. And my favorite thing about this deck, I think, is that there's like technically two ways to play this deck. the one most like reasonable way, I guess, is just to play seriously, think through your turns, think about what you want to do, play properly, plan properly, you know, play it like a normal deck. But the if you're just tired of thinking, you just want to turn your brain off at the cost of some win rate, you can just play this deck and just like dump a ton of cards every turn and just like get the high off of that, I guess, which is also reasonable, I think. So yeah, you can go ahead and pick up this deck if either of those appeals to your tastes. But that's it from me for today. I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, bye bye.